Go. Okay, all
Okay.
right, we're ready to start.
All right,
Let's go.
Let's go. So on the right hand, you see obviously that there is a chat
Yes,
where you can
you found the chat.
where you can ask questions during the webinar or comments about the technical setup. And I hope everything is fine now. But please ask questions during the webinar. We're really happy to make it a bit more interactive and to answer all your questions concerning this topic.
Yes, please do. And just maybe practically, if you have questions, you can put them in the questions tab, which is on the right-hand side next to the chat button.
Yeah.
Just put them there. Or you can put them in the chat if that's easier, whatever you prefer.
All right.
And please do so, because otherwise I have nothing to do here.
Yes, please.
Please.
All right. What is on the agenda for today? Well, of course, why you should recruit on Facebook, because that's why we're here. What should you pay attention to when preparing? Because there is some prepare stuff that you need to do before you can actually set up your campaign. Then we're going to talk about how do you set it up, and then how do you measure the results, because we're talking about paid recruitment campaigns. And maybe we're going to launch the first poll already. I just want to know in the audience who already launched a paid recruitment campaign on Facebook or Instagram.
Normally you ask this later, so
I know.
I wasn't ready. So you're keeping me on my toes.
I thought it was a good moment now.
Okay. So you're there on the right-hand side, click on polls, and there you can actually vote on the poll. And we have about, let's say, 80-20. 80% of people have not yet published a recruitment campaign.
Okay. All right. Cool. What is not on the agenda today, that is free organic recruiting on social media. We're not convinced that that this works. We're talking about paid recruitment campaigns. We're not going to talk about data-driven recruitment. We've done another webinar about that in the past. You can find that one on our website. And then what is a great working ad is a topic which we are going to discuss in the next couple of weeks. All right. Now, what does Simple do? Well, we provide qualified candidates and we focus on passive candidates. I will come back to that later. We do this through targeted advertisement on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and we're now experimenting also with TikTok. And of course, we do this in a user-friendly process. Now, why should you believe us? Here are some proven results. We analyzed lots of data points, 11 million per month, which is really, really a lot. And here you can find some of our customers as well. But let's start. Why should you recruit
enough with the promotion.
Yes.
Okay, let's do some real stuff.
Yes. Why should you recruit on Facebook? First of all, Facebook has many platforms. If you go to Facebook Ads Manager, you will see that you have the option to also advertise on Instagram, Messenger, and Audience Network. Audience Network is a platform of Facebook. These are applications and websites of the network of Facebook where you can also put your advertisements on. Now, why should you recruit on Facebook? 20% is actively looking for a job, and they're looking on Google, on different job boards, on LinkedIn, but 80% of the working population is not actively looking for a job. And there you have to pop out with your vacancy on the platforms where they are every single day. And that's Facebook and Instagram, because on average, a person scrolls 160 meters a day, which is really, really a lot. And there you have to pop out with your vacancy advertisement to convince the passive job seekers as well. Now, before you can actually start with making your campaigns, you have to know some marketing basics, because of course you want the best performance of your campaign. So you need to know some marketing basics as well. First of all, you have to make a visualization of your the steps that a person takes to come to a hire. So on the right hand, you see the recruitment funnel. So first of all, you have an application, then you have the selection process. And in the selection process, you can have different steps. It can be different in every company. And then hopefully you come to a hire. But before the recruitment funnel is a marketing funnel. And this is really important because, of course, you want people to land on your vacancy page to do actually their application. The marketing funnel can be divided in 3 different steps. And the first one is the discover phase. In the discover phase, you will show advertisements to your audience, but it will be really, really broad. So for example, if you're looking for someone in construction, then you will show topics, blogs, subjects about construction. So that if you know that if people click on that kind of advertisement, that they are, well, hopefully working in construction, because otherwise they won't be, or have an interest, indeed. Then in the engage phase, you won't show your specific advertisement yet, but you will show an advertisement about, are you open for a new opportunity? Are you looking for a new career, etc. In the attract phase, there you will show the specific job vacancy itself. So you will show the job function, you will show your company, you will show the region, etc. And then, of course, if they see that advertisement, they land on your vacancy page and they hopefully will apply. Both are linked to each other. This is really important to know because, of course, you're putting media budgets in Facebook and Instagram and you want the most applications of it and the most qualified applications of it. So you need to know where it goes wrong in your funnel and where you have to optimize. All right. If you have any questions,
yes, please.
Ask them in the chats.
Every time somebody starts typing, I'm anxious to know that what question they're going to ask, but unfortunately,
and if you can answer it.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, the gauntlet has been thrown. Please ask me a question I cannot answer.
All right. Once you've set up the funnel, the recruitment funnel and the marketing funnel, you can prepare your campaign. And the first thing that you need to think about is, of course, your audience, your target audience. What we recommend is to think about your audience before you dive into Facebook Ads Manager, because there are lots of options in Facebook Ads Manager itself. And that's why we recommend to think about it beforehand. Think about what requirements do the person need to have, what skills, which degree perhaps, and etc. What are the interests of that kind of person? And then you dive into Facebook Ads Manager, and there you have several options. And the first one is the location, because of course, well, you're looking for someone in, let's say, Firenze, then you can pick Firenze as a location, as a targeting, and you have to choose a radius around it, and we recommend 20 kilometers around the location, but it all depends, of course, of the job function. The second one that you need to choose in Facebook Ads Manager are interests. Facebook has more than 1 million interests to choose from, and that's why we recommend to think about it before you dive into Facebook Ads Manager. And for example, if you're looking for a digital marketeer, then you can choose the interest digital marketing, and Facebook will give you some suggestions. Maybe your audience will also like Facebook Ads Manager or online marketing or marketing in general. But there are lots and lots of interests which you can choose from. But then the most important thing to define your target audience is data. Facebook loves data, so do we at Simple. And the more data you gather, the more easy it will be to define the perfect audience for your job function. So if you want to recruit on Facebook and Instagram, we recommend to already start gathering data, and I will explain how you can do so later. But it is important to gather some data before you actually start making recruitment campaigns yourselves, because if it's your first recruitment campaign, you will see that it will be difficult to have a good performance of your campaign.
We have a first question from Thomas, and actually, to be honest, it's quite a difficult one. So I'll pass it on to you. No, I'm just kidding. The question is, and I think where Thomas is coming from. So the question is, locations are limited by Facebook, same like gender, or does this depend by country? Mm-hmm. I think Thomas is referring to something which is going to happen on the 7th of December, mm-hmm. where Facebook will start applying new rules specifically for a couple of categories, which is finance or investments, and also vacancies or employment ads. Mm-hmm. And there will be more restrictions on that. We're preparing a separate webinar for that, so I don't want to kind of go too deep into this, but maybe so And that will give you less facilities to target. So indeed, you will not be able to kind of switch between or choose gender, but you will still be able to choose locations. And the example that Stephanie gave on Firenze and 20 kilometer round will still be possible, right?
Yeah, the minimum is 15, will be 15. Well, that's what they say.
Yeah. So today, actually, the minimum is 1. Yeah. As of the 7th of December, when the new rules of Facebook will come into force, it will be 15 kilometers, which is still quite kind of focused and allows you to do the right location-based targeting. And some of the other age and gender targeting possibilities will not be possible anymore. Yeah. But today, actually, you could still do that.
Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, in Facebook Ads Manager, you can't say, okay, I'm looking for an account manager with 3 years of experience. You have to gather lots of data to actually build that kind of audience. Now, we just want to show you really quickly how we do it in our software.
Can I just say one thing before, because I think you already made a point about data, right? And the importance of actually collecting and starting to collect your own data as quickly as possible. Actually, the question from Thomas and what's happening on the 7th of December is a fantastic example of that, right? If you have already, for instance, like us, if you have already a lot of data from the past, you can easily transfer about changes in the Facebook policy because you have your own data, right? The longer you wait, the less data you have, and the more you're going to be dependent on the data that Facebook is supplying. So another kind of just reminder, we're what's around the corner, don't wait too long with starting to collect data. And again, and I know Stephanie said that before, so I heard that, but you don't need to have a campaign live, or you don't need to have an open vacancy today to start collecting data. We'll talk about that later on, but that's very important. So you can start collecting data today. Even if you only have plans for recruiting in 2022, you can start collect data today, which is going to be the third part of the webinar today. I want to explain to you how you can do that. Okay, yes. Good.
All right. Let's go to how we do it in our software.
Yeah.
Just to show you.
So just to give you an example, this is what we have built is based on the data we have. We've built an interface which allows our customers actually to easily use our data sets. And if you can maybe just quickly start here. So assuming you're looking for a barista, you can then look in our data set of people working in hospitality. And we will then start looking at all the data we have from the past on how to target people in the hospitality sector in a certain area. So that would be one of the advantages, and we'll talk a bit more about the software later on. That's what we built, but again, if you would start collecting your own data, you can also start aggregate that according to different functions, according to different locations, and use that in the future. Good.
All right. So once you've defined your target audience, it is important to see what the competition is doing. And I'm not talking about the competition of your company, but I'm talking about the competition of your target audience. So the companies that also are trying to target your audience that you are targeting for your job vacancy. Sorry.
I think it's clear.
Yeah. So
maybe you could give an example.
Yes. So, for example, if you're looking for account managers for, let's say, Volvo, the car company, then you might think about people that like cars, that like things about cars, because those are the people that you want to target. And which companies are also looking to target that audience. We use Facebook Ads Library. I will just go quickly live to show you. Let me see. There you go. So Facebook Ads Library is an open platform where you can search for any company and you will see the ads that they are running. So maybe let's just search for I don't know, a company. You can type in any company in the chat, so I can search it live to see if they are.
How interactive people are.
Yes.
Send us the name of a company you want to check out on Facebook.
Google.
Yes, good question.
Let's see. So here you see their likes that they have, the followers that they have on Instagram, and you see that they launched an advertisement in November. You can see it's a carousel with different pictures. You can see the copy. You can see that they're running it on Facebook and Instagram. Here you can see the advertisement that they launched in July. You see that they are doing A/B tests as well because they're making videos, they're making also pictures. But you can see all the things, all the copy, and it can give you some inspiration to make your advertisement as well. Maybe another company?
Yes, let's see. Anybody else? One thing interesting in what their competition is doing, or Vince is typing. Let's see what Vince is typing. Oh, tricky one. Kinken Music.
Let's see. Let's see. I think it's this one. Yeah, they're no running. No.
Running at the moment.
All right. Let's do one more, maybe.
B&B.
All right.
I think that's let's take the Belgian version. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There you can see that they're running videos, pictures as well. You can see the copy. You can see their call to action. It can give you really some inspiration about how you have to build your advertisements so that the things that the audience will see. All right, let's go back to the presentation. Let me see. There you go. Now, after you've built your audience and after you have some inspiration about how your ad will look like, well, we want to share some tips and tricks about our recruitment campaigns, because we've done over more than 6,000, I think it's now 7,000 maybe, recruitment campaigns already. And we have some learnings from all those campaigns. And the first one is use authentic pictures. And this is a really important one because, of course, you can search for stock images on the internet, but Facebook will know that these are stock images. Well, Facebook will not know it, but the candidates will not click on stock images. They want authentic pictures. They want to see where they are going to work. They want to see the team that they are working in, maybe the office if you have a nice office. And you don't have to hire a professional photographer for it. You can just take pictures with your mobile, with your smartphone, of your employees that are working at your company. Here you can see some examples of our clients, which we made for our clients. The second tip that I want to give you, the second advice, is that use uniform communication. We always recommend to show your brand on the advertisement. You see that we use always the logos of our clients, and we use the same colors for the job function, which we always say on the advertisement, because people want to know that it's a job function, that it's a vacancy advertisement. What is also important, if you use the branding colors of your company, then also use those branding colors on your vacancy page and use perhaps the same pictures that you use in your campaign, because Facebook will not only have a look at your advertisement, but also will have a look at your vacancy page and the conversion on both of the platforms, on your website and on your Facebook advertisements. So this is also a really important one. And then the third one, of course, you can search for Facebook best practices on the internet, and it can give you some inspiration. But what we've learned is if Facebook, for example, says, okay, video is working better than the picture, well, it might be for some companies, for some products or services, but not for everyone. So what we do is we test everything, and I will come back to that later. But if you have a picture and if you have a video, then set it both live in Facebook Ads Manager and you will see the results coming in. So the Facebook best practices can give you some inspiration, but test it anyway to see what is working best for your company and for your target audience, of course. All right, then, well, yeah, here you can see the dimensions of the pictures and the videos. This is important if you upload it for newsfeed or for stories. It needs to have the right dimensions, of course. Now, how we do it in our software, let's Mark just explain it really quickly.
So again, we were trying to make it very, very easy. Let's use the same example as the barista as before. So let's assume you are looking for barista. You can just paste the text you want to have with your advertising it will be shown on the right. You'll see a preview. And then you can easily just kind of upload any picture you have on your hard drive or in the cloud, add a picture, and then our software will automatically put a banner on there with the name of the function, and just put a wanted on there in your branding colors, wanted barista. And if you would want to kind of also then show this on Instagram, which we would advise to at least test Instagram, you can kind of define the format, because as you know, then as Stephanie just explained, Instagram is a different format than Facebook. So you don't need Photoshop, you don't need other kind of graphical programs. Everything can be done within our software. And very interestingly, you can also easily set up some testing to test, for instance, one visual versus a picture. I'll show that in a second. First, this was uploading here, but then you can click and look at pictures you might have used before, or you want to test to see whether a picture like one of the world famous baristas is working better than just a picture of a couch. Not just a couch, but a couch. Okay, that neatly brings us into the topic of A/B testing, Stephanie.
Yes, indeed. So what we love at Simple is to A/B test everything. Here, for example, you see that we tested 2 different pictures. We used the same job function, we used the same copy, the same call to action, only the picture is different, just to see which one is working best. Now, maybe we're going to launch a poll to see which one do you think that worked best for this campaign. We were looking for a sales consultant for Legerstock, which is a company in Belgium. Let's see.
Okay, so the polls are available on the right, and people are voting now, and we have 50-50 kind of. No, the winner is the picture on the left. Yes, the one on the left.
All right. Well, actually, that's correct. So we've put them both live, and after a couple of days, we saw that the picture on the left had more applications, 22, instead of the one on the right, which had 12 applications. And the cost per application, CPA, was also cheaper for the one on the left. So this is important to know that, because we thought that the one on the right would work better, but what we do then is we throw them both live in Facebook Ads Manager, and then we see the results coming in, and we can immediately eliminate the one that isn't working and put our money on the one that is working. You can also A/B test videos. Here you can see some examples of our clients.
Sorry, I just, there's a question from Esme, which I think is a good question on the A/B testing, is, do you know why the left one is better?
Yeah, well, we don't know why exactly, but we do know that the picture, the visual itself, is better for our audience that we want to target than the one on the right, because everything else is the same. The copy is the same, the headline is the same, call to action is the same, job function is the same. Only the picture is working better. Why that picture is working better, we don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah. But we know that it's because of the picture that we use.
But that's why you have to kind of be very strict in what you're A/B testing. And also, I think what's important is that it's the law of numbers, right? If you're discussing with 5 people in your team, everybody might have a different idea. But if you show it to 5,000 people, you actually get some reliable data based on that.
So this is also a thing, like you can also test videos, but of course it's more difficult to see why one video is working better than the other, because there are so many variables in one specific video. But definitely, you can definitely use and test also videos because it is working well. But it is important to attract the attention of your audience immediately in the first 2 or 3 seconds, because of course people are scrolling on their smartphone, and you want them to stop and to have a look at the video, and then of course click to come to your vacancy.
There's a question from Chris. I think it's a bit of a follow-up question, whether the picture on the right might work better for a junior. It's a good point.
Yeah.
That's also one of the things we thought, and to be clear, this is a test we've done in the beginning of COVID, when people were kind of still kind of not so fed up with masks as they are now. So maybe you want to show different A/B tests next time. But yes, I think it's very true, Chris. We could test that for a different target audience, because it's very true that it's not because this is working for your current target audience that if you have a different target audience, a different company, a different region even, that you shouldn't do the test. Again.
Yeah, because of course, unfortunately, there isn't a silver bullet of what is working best that will work definitely for every campaign. No, you have to test everything again, even if it's another month of the year. I think can work better or worse. Yeah. Okay. Now, once you've done all those technical setup, you have to set up, of course, your campaign itself. I'm not going to go live to Facebook Ads Manager because it will take us a bit too long to explain everything over there. But I want to share.
And there's a risk that we lose the connection again. So.
Yeah, indeed. But I just want to explain you the campaign components, which you have to think about when you set it up in Facebook Ads Manager. And the first one is the campaign level. And there you have to choose the objectives. So for example, if you want to have as many clicks as possible, then you are going to choose the objective traffic. But if you want to have much conversions, then you can choose for the objective conversion. You have lots of objectives to choose from, but think wisely, and you have to set it up also technically correctly.
And this is also, may interrupt, actually think back about the funnel that Stephanie showed in the beginning. If you're in the discover phase in the beginning, your campaign will have a different objective, because that's when you want as many people as possible to see it. While if you're further down the funnel, your objective might be conversion. So yes. Maybe just think back about the funnel, and that's going to drive your objectives here also.
Then underneath the campaign level, you have the ad set level. And what do you have to choose on the ad set level? First of all, your audience. You have to define your target audience on the ad set level. And then the channels. Like I already said, you can choose from Facebook, from Instagram, Messenger, Audience Network. But what we recommend is to test every channel, every platform as an individual ad set. Because of course, Facebook will recommend you to put it live on all the platforms of Facebook. But it can be that, for example, Messenger isn't working well for your audience, or Instagram isn't working well, or is working really well. So you want to see where your audience, on which channel they are. And then, of course, you have to define your budget over there, but I will come back to that later. Then underneath the ad set level, you have the advertisement itself. And what is advertisement? Well, that is, of course, what people will see. It's the visual that you upload. There you have to write the copy of your advertisement. So that is something in the ad level, which you have to set up over there. It is important to know that it's not a one-on-one relationship. You can have one campaign with several ad sets and with several ads underneath.
You should actually.
You should actually, indeed, to see what is working best for your audience. Now, what defines the cost of a Facebook campaign? First of all, the bidding. Well, Facebook is a bidding platform, and you have to think about how much are you willing to pay for your advertisement. You can choose for a daily budget or lifetime budget. It's totally up to you. And what is also important, you can set up a cost cap. For example, let's say if you choose conversion, then you can say, okay, one conversion, I want to spend maximum 20 euros for it. That's also something you can set up in Ads Manager, which is, of course, really handy. The second one, what also defines the cost, is the estimated action rates. And what is this? Well, it's actually all the things that you already done on Facebook. So for example, if you have a Facebook page, how many posts do you post per week? What is the reaction time when someone asks you a question in Messenger? These are all actions setup that Facebook gives a rates to, and it will also define costs of your Facebook campaigns. But also if you already done performance campaigns in the past, of course. And then the third one is user value. Of course, Facebook wants you to give value to the users, to the audience that you're targeting, because Facebook wants to give the most positive experience on their platform for their users, but they also have the ability for advertisement to advertise. But it has to be a balance between both. And all those three things will define the cost of your recruitment campaign. Now, How much money do you have to provide for your recruitment campaign? Well, we at Simple, we have made a financial Facebook formula, also known as the FFF.
It's world famous.
Yes, it is actually.
FFF, yes.
Mark will also send you the link in the chat. You can have a look at it. But there are 3 questions that you need to answer, and then the formula will calculate the budget that you need to provide. And the first one is, you have to think, how many applicants do you actually need to come to the hire? The second one is, what will be the conversion rate of your vacancy page? And what do I mean by that? Well, here you can see an example. For example, if you have 1,250 visitors on your vacancy page and you have 50 applications, then you have a conversion rate of 4%. This is really a high number, I must say. But it is important to also see if all the applications are qualitative, because if the applications are off target, then of course you're nothing with a high conversion rate. And then the third one is, think about what will be the conversion rate of your Facebook ad. If you have nice pictures, if you have a strong brand, if you have a nice package for the candidates, nice what's in it for me, for the candidates, then your conversion rate will be high, of course. But if you use stock images, if you don't have a nice package, then your conversion rate will be low. So if you answer all those 3 questions, then the formula will calculate how much budget you have to provide. Now, what we recommend at Simple is to, let's say, provide 40 till 50 euros a day, because then you can A/B test everything, and then you will immediately see the results coming in. That's what we recommend.
We have 2 questions.
Yes.
One from Stephanie. Do potential candidates get a message in Messenger?
Can be.
It could be.
Yeah, if you set it up, you can also choose the objective traffic, and you can actually send them to your messenger. You can install a chatbot also over there. So it can be, but it's not.
So necessary. Yeah, no, it could be one.
Yeah.
Actually, we talk about conversion and how to kind of improve your conversion in the data-driven webinar, if you're interested in that. And then there's a question from Sonia. Is Facebook becoming an employment platform for future jobs? I think I'll take this question. Yeah. I think that depends on what I want to say with the employment platform, Sonia. I think Facebook has been quite active in trying to push Facebook for Jobs, which is their separate platform where they allow you to publish jobs, same as Google has tried. What we've seen that actually those kind of channels, those seem to be very effective. So I would say that part, I don't think is really going to take off, or we don't see the data that is really working. On the other hand, and that's, I think, our second slide or third slide, we are very convinced that Facebook as a platform is the way to go if you want to reach passive candidates. So from that perspective, I think it would be a strong yes. If you're talking about Facebook for Jobs, I would be less eager to say yes on that one. Yeah. There's a question from Kathleen on what is a good...
Can I just maybe elaborate on that one? Please. Because you can also launch vacancies on your Facebook page, and we've done some experiments in the past with that. It's free and organic, but we didn't see the results coming in. So we've done a test with several job functions over there, but well, the problem is that people need to come to your vacancy, and Facebook doesn't really push that in organic posts. So, yeah.
Good point. Yeah. There's another question on Kathleen on what is a good conversion rate. Not sure. I think we talked about saying that 4% is very, very good.
Yeah.
What would you say is a good conversion rate?
It all depends on your job function, actually, because for engineers, for example, I would say your conversion rate of 1% is already really good. But for a sales function or for someone in construction, a conversion rate of 1 is nothing, and you need to have a conversion rate of 4 or 5. So it all depends a bit on, and also the region.
You're talking conversion Facebook to vacancy or vacancy?
No, vacancy to application.
Okay, yeah. That's a different approach. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. The question from Vince: is it even worth advertising if you have a budget of less of, let's say, 100 euros per month? And I will be very honest, Vince, no, don't do it. You're not going to be able to get the reach. You're not going to be able to get the data. You won't be able to learn anything about that. So if your budget is 100 euros per month, I would say I think it's better to see if you can spend that elsewhere. But I'm also going to be honest, I wouldn't know where.
Yeah.
Because 100 euros on Indeed is going to buy you maybe, let's say 80 clicks, right? 80 clicks, no, it's 60, it's maybe 120 clicks to your vacancy page. We know that the conversion from Indeed is going to be higher because it's active looking candidates, but we also know the quality is lower. So even if you get 2-3 candidates out of your 100 euros via Indeed, I would be strongly doubtful that those will be the right candidates.
Yeah.
So I think 100 euro in recruitment campaigns or in recruitment is just not enough. Sorry. And then Wim, how to explain companies are having a hard time finding good employers? And I think you mean employees. Yes, you mean employees, exactly. Wait, I think what you're touching on is the more macroeconomic problem of the fact that in this economy where things are kind of going in the right direction and all companies are united, and that's why it's called the war for talent, are having difficulties finding the right candidates. Now you're talking about a high unemployment rate, exactly as people are. There's not a lot of people that are unemployed, I think is what you're saying here. But again, and this is a macroeconomic discussion. I don't think we need to go too deep. But yes, the people are currently unemployed, unfortunately don't seem to have the right skill set for the companies that are looking for people. And you have the whole debate about reskilling, upskilling that workforce, which I don't think is a debate for today. I think the debate for today is here about how can you convince passive candidates, i.e. people currently not looking for a job because they have a job, how you can convince those candidates to switch employers and move to a different company because they think or they hope to find a better job there. So I think I understand your question, but I think it's probably part of the short answer I gave here meant for a different subject. Good questions are coming in. I love this. Irene, so what would you recommend? 40 to 50 a day, 1,200 to 1,500 a month on Facebook ads. That is exactly that is exactly our budgeting, Irene, and that's exactly what we foresee with our clients. At least we ask our clients to make sure that they are willing to have that budget available. Sometimes after 20 days, they find a perfect candidate. They can stop then. But that's kind of in your mind. I think that's what you kind of need to foresee for a vacancy, which allows you through some good testing, so lots of A/B testing, and to get some learnings from that. Good.
All right. Data is king. Like I already said, Facebook loves data. We at Simple loves data. It is important that you analyze and set up everything correctly, so you the data is correct, so you can optimize where it needs to be done. And the first thing that you need to do, and I hope you will do this after the webinar, is to install the Facebook Pixel. And let's just launch a poll to see who already installed the Facebook Pixel.
All right.
Just curious to know.
Going live now, and again, it's on the right top of your screen. Click on polls next to chat and questions. And not entirely surprisingly, only about 10 to 15% have installed it. And almost half of people are asking, what the hell is a Facebook Pixel? So please, Stephanie, what the hell is a Facebook Pixel?
Well, the Facebook Pixel is actually a piece of code that you need to install on your website. And then it will track everything that a visitor takes on your website, and it will send it back, that data, to Facebook to optimize your campaigns. It is totally GDPR approved, but of course you have to mention it in your privacy policy that you have installed the Facebook Pixel on your website. I'm not going to go into detail about how you have to install it. You can read this in the white paper, which we've written about data-driven recruitment. There you can find everything. But
which is completely free. We're
crazy it's completely free. This kind of yes, you can. You will receive a login to our Simple Academy at the end of the webinar, and there you can find all our resources that we've made, all for free. Now, what I do want to explain to you is why it is so important to install the Facebook Pixel. And the first one is retargeting. If visitors already have come to your vacancy page, but they didn't apply, then you can retarget them with different advertisements. Because of course, people are scrolling on Facebook and Instagram, they click on your advertisement, they come to your vacancy page and they think, oh, I don't have the time right now to apply. And so you need to keep your company or your vacancy page top of mind with your audience, so you can retarget all the visitors that already have come to your vacancy but didn't apply. The second one is you need to track conversions, and that you can do with the Facebook Pixel. So for example, what we do at Simple is once an application has found place, we have an interactive chatbot for people to apply on our vacancy page. Once they filled in that chatbot, then they come to a thank you page. And on that thank you page, the Facebook Pixel is fired and is sent back to Facebook. So Facebook knows that a conversion has taken place and will optimize your campaigns to have as many conversions that you need, of course. And then the third one, it's also really important and a really powerful thing of Facebook. With the Facebook Pixel, you can build audiences. So once you've created the perfect target audience, you can make lookalike audiences. And these are similar audience to your custom audience, to the audience that you have just created, and which is perfect to target your the audience with your vacancy. Then you can create lookalike audiences, and these audiences are just to broaden the reach of your advertisements. So this is really powerful. It doesn't depend on how much money you spend on Facebook or how much campaigns you've done in the past. No, of course you have to have some data, but then you can build all the audiences that you want, of course.
And maybe if you can just interrupt there, when we talked about earlier about saying, look, start today with collecting data, this is one of the reasons how this is one of the ways of starting to do that.
Yes.
So even if you only plan to do your recruitment on Facebook in 2022, start installing the Facebook Pixel today to start gathering data, because that's going to help you next year. And then there's a question from Raza. What is the option to measure success of campaign on social media if it's against company rules to install the Facebook Pixel?
Ooh.
Shall I answer this?
Yes, maybe.
Yes. Well, the easy answer is you should use our software, Raza, but that would be a bit too easy. No, I think, well, joke aside though, one of the advantages of using our software is that everything is actually included in the package and you don't need to install anything on your own website anymore. What you could do, Raza, is what I would advise is you could install Google Analytics, right? Because Google Analytics, and Steph will talk about that a bit later on, is a good tool to measure who is coming on your website, where are they coming from, and that is actually going to give you some insights in understanding how many people are coming from Facebook via a certain campaign, and you can start doing some of the calculation yourself, but you will lose the opportunity to actually feed back that data to Facebook to optimize your campaign. But if it's just about you want to know after 1 month or 2 months, how good was my campaign, or was my money spent on Facebook the right choice, or should I spend more money on Indeed? You can use Google Analytics for that.
But it is difficult.
It is difficult.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I mean,
it's okay.
You will lose some data, and also the performance of your campaigns will be less.
Okay, so the only answer is use our software.
Yes.
There you go. All right, good. We didn't prepare this. Thanks, Raza, for that question.
All right. So next to the Facebook Pixel, there are some useful tools which we recommend to also install, and Mark already mentioned it. One of them is Google Analytics. Google Analytics is also a piece of code that you have to install on your website, and then it will give you some insights about the visitors that come to your website. How long do they stay? On which pages do they click? On which buttons do they click? Etc. How do you have to install all those tools? Well, we use Google Tag Manager. These are all free tools, by the way. And in Google Tag Manager, you can install all the pixels of Facebook, of LinkedIn, maybe TikTok, etc. And you can also install all the events, all the conversion goals in Google Tag Manager. It is some technical setup, so you need to dive into it to really install it correctly, because of course you want to have correct data to optimize your campaigns in the best way. And then the last tool which I want to share with you is Google Data Studio. What is this? Well, it's also a tool from Google, where you can customize and build your own dashboards with all the data that you gather from Facebook, from Google Analytics, to one place where you can build and customize graphs, where you can make dashboards, etc.
Did you mention all these tools are free?
Yes.
Okay, right, sorry. Because I was just reading a question from Wim. Wim asks, how do costs of a retargeting campaign compare to the costs of the initial ad campaign?
Retargeting will be cheaper because, of course, well, what we do in the initial campaign, we use the goal conversion, but for a retargeting campaign, we use the goal awareness, and awareness is always cheaper than a conversion campaign.
Yeah. Because basically, you know, you'll have 300, maybe 400 people you want to retarget. So you just want to make sure that they see that ad again. What do we say, 3 times a week, or what's
No, that's too much.
That's too much. Okay, sorry.
You don't want to spam them with the advertisement.
Okay. 2 times a week, right? But the actual cost for the cost for that impression is going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
But because you have a small audience, right? Facebook will charge a bit more because the smaller audience, that's kind of always the way, and that's also the bidding system that Stephanie explained. But I mean, it's
the total amount.
The total amount is going to be very, very small versus the rest of your campaign. So it's always a good idea to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All right. So I know it's a lot, and there is some technical setup which you need to think about. But what we've done at Simple is we created a software where you can easily set up your campaign on Facebook and Instagram without having installed the Facebook pixel, without having installed Google Analytics. You don't even need a Facebook page or a website. And Mark, maybe you can go just live.
Because we're so proud of this. Seriously, we are very proud of this, because I think, well, we think it's a unique way of doing this. Yes, I'm on the screen. Okay, so again, let's continue with our barista example. Let's assume you want to look for a barista. We actually have created a very clear checklist on the things you have to do. This is, we've shown this already. This is your advertising tool. This is your targeting tool. You've seen that. But we also have actually a vacancy page tool, so it will allow you to build your vacancy page within our tool. On that vacancy page, the pixel will be installed, so you can do the tracking around. So that's one of the advantages of using this. You can actually program very easily the chatbot. So this chatbot will start asking questions to people coming in. And then once your campaign goes live, you're actually going to be able to actually also see all the candidates that are coming in for this function. And you can actually start moving them around on the board to say, okay, look, this Joey, if I click on him, you can see the answers he gave in the chatbot. You can see his details. And if you then want to move Joey to the interesting column, you can just move him here, and then you'll be able to kind of have a good visual overview of your candidates. You can send them an email from the system. So that's quite powerful. And if you click on social media, and I can't show it live because this is a dummy campaign, but if I go to a live campaign, you can actually, let's do here, say last year, you'll be able to see for this particular campaign, how many impressions, how many visits, how many applications, how much budget have you spent, what ads are working, what ads are not working. And our system will actually start shutting down the ads that are not working. We'll start creating new ads. We'll optimize ads, all of that based on the machine learning we have running on our data here. So it's a very powerful system. If you kind of don't want to go, if you want to be present on Facebook and Instagram to recruit, but you don't want to go through the hassle of setting up everything yourself, this is a very interesting way of doing that. And I think Steph has shared
yes.
the link to the free trial already, because that's how generous she is, just kind of giving away again, right, our stuff. One final thing I want to show here. On the left, you see the Academy. So if you log in, you create a free account. You can also kind of see all the webinars, see all our white papers. You can find them here. Okay, Steph, that's it. I'll go back to you.
Yes, Raza, I love your comments. She says, you are good if Chandler Bing applied to be a barista.
Exactly.
It's maybe not a real Chandler.
That's how good our algorithm is, Raza, you know? We can even convince Chandler. Okay, so this got just a question of Wim. Do you have fixed rules to manage a campaign when you call it quits when a campaign is no success? That's a very good question. And indeed, can I take this?
Yeah, okay.
Because when you mention rules, it's true that Facebook Business Manager allows you to set up rules. If you reach a certain frequency, then shut down the campaign. That's a very basic way of managing our campaign. Our system goes a lot further than that. And we will look at many, many other different data points. Because sometimes you can have a couple of impressions, you can have low click-through, but you can have a good application rate for people actually applying on your vacancy. In that case, that's a very good ad. That's an ad which normally, because of a low click-through, would have been shut down by the Facebook system. So the advantage of our system is that actually we look at the whole cycle from the beginning till the end, and we will take into account many more different data points than what Facebook is doing, or that actually even that you could do yourself by looking at it. And that's, I think you mentioned the 11 million data points already. That's one of the beauty of our system, that we can basically analyze all that data, draw conclusions from that, and actually apply that to your specific campaign.
Yes.
God, we're brilliant. And we sell this at too low. We should increase our prices, Stephanie. Okay.
Different discussion.
Different discussion.
All right. If you have still more questions, please ask them in the chat. We still have a couple of minutes left, so we can still answer them right now. You're also going to receive an email after the webinar with the recordings and also the link to our software, so you can register and you can download all our resources if you want. You can also start building your first recruitment campaign. We're happy to help with that. And if you set it up before Tuesday, we will give you 50 euros media budgets extra.
I'm not going to even make a comment on that. I'm publishing now 2 polls just to ask you what you thought about this webinar, whether you're happy with the content, and also if you have any ideas on what you think our next webinar should be. Irene asked, is there a discount for attendees? Well, there's 2 weeks discount. What more can we give? And yes, you can run a demo in, so they can the 2 weeks free trial. Of course, when we talk about free trial, we talk about free from our software perspective. If you want to buy ads on Facebook, you'll have to pay for them yourself. Okay, let's see if people are filling in the poll, because I'm really... But
also maybe if someone wants to have a pitch and really knows the pricing and how we work, you can always send us an email or visit us on LinkedIn. I will show you our LinkedIn profiles as well. Because we're really happy to talk about that and how we can help with your recruitment campaigns.
Okay. When we're located in the center of the world, aka Antwerp, it's not only the center of Belgium, but actually it's actually the center of the universe, some would say. But that's where we are, right in the middle of Antwerp. And then a question from Raza, the recruitment advertising on LinkedIn. I think, Raza, that's a different webinar, which we're working on. But I can only say the short version of that is your return on investment on Facebook is going to be much higher.
Yeah, the cost per application is higher on LinkedIn.
Yes, we represent 2000 Antwerpen. All right. Good, let's see if people have filled in the polls, because that's... Yes, okay. All right. I think that's it from our side.
Yes, Thank you very much for joining us. It was really nice to have some questions during the webinar. It's always nice to have some interaction. So I hope to see you again in one of our next webinars, or maybe if you launch your recruitment campaign in our software, we're also happy to see you over there.
Even happier.
Okay, thanks everyone.